It's March 11th and our board meeting, the agenda is really, we declare a quorum. Kara's missing, not missing, but excused. And we're gonna,
Zooming in.
she said she wasn't gonna be able to make it out. I think it's time zone. She sent me an email and I have her names correct. So let's see. So I think, do you want me to explain, Benita, or do you?
Sure.
You wanna go? Okay.
I don't know where you're starting.
Okay, yeah.
What was
So
that?
I guess a couple things. Yeah, we got an email from someone about a name change of the gun barrel library, and we're not gonna address that in this meeting. We'll address it on the 18th. We're reviewing and we'll send a response, probably after that meeting. So if there had any questions about that, you know, feel free to talk to me or, but we'll talk about it the next meeting. And then, so we had a great, I guess for the public record here, we just had a really great group of applicants. I think we all agree. We're shocked by the number. And, oh. And we're shocked by the number and also the quality of the applicants, range of diversity from inside the city, outside the city, different genders and races and all of that. And I think it pretty much matches the demographics of our library district, our group does. And so our kind of role tonight will be to, talk about the candidates or the candidates that we want to bring up. And we kind of, because there were so many, we needed to really think about the process, so we're not here for 12 hours. And determine, how to do it. And the way we decided was, or at least the selection committee and decided and was that, and we can always discuss this, but was that we would go around in alphabetical order by our first name and prepare, give out your 4 top people, explain why you like those people, and then whether you had any contact or recruiting of these people, if you did, and then we would move to the next person, and the idea being like, so let's say I pick 4 people, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then it goes to the next person. Well, if those people were already on my list, then I might go to my next group of people and get their names out there. And the idea being that and I would also say, well, so and so is already on my list. So is already, if that person was already on your list, then and that way, and David or Celia will keep track of, which people, got, a person put them forward. So if the one candidate A was on Andy's list and candidate B was on my list, even though I might add additional people to the list of my 4, let us know that. So then what we're gonna do is, what we decide is if 4 trustees out of the 6 here, were on the list, we were gonna advance that person to the full committee. And that way, so, and if we look at the end and we only got, I don't know, we don't have anybody with 4, or if there's something wrong, if we have a bunch of people with 3, we'll go back to that. Does that make sense to everyone?
So 4
Would-
endorsements.
4 endorsements, yeah.
Would you like to get our top 4 votes from everyone before we speak to each candidate, so you can actually see what a clean vote slate looks like?
Yeah, let's probably do that.
Would be a good idea.
I think that's what we talked about, yeah.
Ask just it related to process and how we see the names. Are they in the order that they submitted their application?
I believe so. That's
Okay,
what it looks like to me.
okay,
Yeah.
I was like going through, but that's what I wondered about that. So that helps me.
I regrouped them for myself alphabetically, but they are in the order in your packet, but how they were received.
In the packet.
Yeah, and on this list.
Yes. Okay. Okay. I
So we'll just, say our four and then,
Okay, so
Go to demographics, just.
those things, yeah.
I will track what everybody's saying.
Yeah.
One note on demographics, so it is remarkably consistent, area. So 24% of the applicants are from outside the city. That mirrors, by almost 1%, what we estimate the demography to be. 81% identified, self-identified as white. Boulder area is 81.77% white. Only there were just 6% that identified as Latino, five or six identified as Latino. The actual number is around 10, but the number who identified as more than one race was like 3%, which the actual number is 1. So it, the big number is 82% of the population is white, 81%, and the rest who chose either not to identify or identified as another racial makeup. Yeah, and the 24% from outside the city, that's just remarkable.
Yeah.
Like,
So I know Doug used the word shocked, but I'm just pleasantly surprised that we have such a number. of
pleasantly shocked. Yeah, sorry.
We could be pleasantly shocked. Okay, but I just think it speaks volumes to where we're at as a district, but also to I'd like to think that we made the application more accessible and maybe asked some things in a way that prompted more people to want to engage.
And that was our goal.
Yeah.
Right? So.
So,
you guys did a good job.
And I'd say like the reach of our, because there was almost no press on this. Like, I think one article in the Boulder Reporting Lab. So it shows the reach of our newsletter and our volunteer database. I think I posted it on Reddit, but I don't know if people applied from Reddit. That was probably the only other, social media. And I'm sure it was on social media probably as well. So it shows the, just the reach of our communications. And all the great work I think we've done in the last year. So, all right, well, without further ado, you want to start, Andy? And just
Sure.
name your four and
And
then,
then come back, we'll talk.
yeah,
about
we'll
them
come back
afterwards.
and talk
Yep.
about it.
The one before I do my four, I will disclose that Sabita Miller is a current and previous coworker of mine. I didn't ask her to apply, but I did post on LinkedIn, and I think she may have applied after seeing my post. With that, she is one of the ones on my list. So I have Sabita, I have Justin Rufa, Cassidy Regal, and Lauren Always.
Sophia, Lauren. Say again,
Sabita, Justin Rufa, Cassidy Regal, and Lauren Always.
okay. My four, Nadine Strazirio. I'm going for the tough names. Jazia Dax Urialis von Bears. Sherry Leach and Ellen Ohashi.
All right, so this is Kara. And she sent this to me in email form, which I'm gonna assume the people are in the order, because it's not necessarily in the order of, she went a narrative into each one, but Nadine Struzario.
That's what I'd said.
Yep, yeah.
Okay.
Ben Bayer.
Again,
Rebecca Boyle. And Jedze, the Star Trek, Jose Aurelius von,
Jadzia Dux Aurelius von Barris.
yes,
So that was mine too.
yes.
Have others then?
Those are her top four.
Who was the second one? I'm sorry. Ben Bayer.
Ben Bayer. Oh, okay, so
I thought
you said, oh yeah, sorry, you said, oh, yeah, you said, but so then,
We were just putting all four out.
Right. I thought.
Oh, I thought we were supposed to add the other two or
you can,
somebody
no,
else.
you can,
If we want to get an accurate vote, we need to stick to our original.
yeah.
We
Do
need to put
four a piece and then
Four piece.
figure it out from there. Cause yeah, we're gonna make it too complicated right from.
Yeah, we'll do the four piece.
Yeah. Okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
All right, and then, sorry, Benita, if we changed the.
No,
rules.
you did. You guys had talked me into that.
Okay, I think I'm next with
Sure.
Doug name. I had, RJ Boyle, Rebecca, Nadine Stesario, Sabita Miller, and, Elizabeth Carmichael.
And I'm so sorry. Could you say those again?
Um,
Boyle?
Rebecca Boyle, Nadine Stesario, Sabita Miller, and, um,
Elizabeth Carmichael.
yeah, Elizabeth Carmichael, sorry. I've searched, no, I'm not gonna say how I've done this. Okay, Sam,
Sam?
your turn.
And let me just preface my remarks by saying, based on the information available, the application, and in some cases a resume, I think pretty much anyone who applied could have brought value and an important perspective to the committee. So it was really a challenging to rank them. But I'll just go in order. They appear on the sheet. Nadine Struzero, Elizabeth Carmichael, Lisa Faria, and Lauren Elweiss.
Sorry, Sam, what were your middle two?
Lisa Faria and Elizabeth Carmichael.
Okay.
Okay, who's next?
Sylvia.
Yeah, sorry. And these are four, but not necessarily like 1, 2, 3, 4, but they're the top four. So I have Diana Sidigi, I'm probably pronounced it wrong.
Mhm.
Sepida Miller, Benjamin Bayer, and Aspen Everett.
Those ones.
Yeah, Diana Sidigi, Sepida Miller, Ben Bayer, and Aspen Everett.
Sapita, right?
Oh,
Peta.
yes.
Tom,
I had Nadine Stazeri, Christina Godbot, Lisa Ferrieri, apologize, I'm not getting these names right, and Elise Edson.
Could you say yours once more? Sorry.
Nadine Stazeri, Christina Godbot, Lisa Ferrieri. Actually, I mean, it was a toss up between Elise Edson and Sepida Miller. I kind of together, but since nobody said Elise, I threw her in there.
Sylvia, do you want to know the ones that have multiple?
Pardon me?
Sylvia, or Benita, did you want to know the ones that had multiple votes?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, are there any that have four? Because we-
There's one with five.
With 5.
Yeah, Dean Struzziero.
At least four, okay. So Nadine has 5.
I don't see any other fours. Or
There's a
Sepida,
3.
Sapita has 3.
you guys three,
3.
okay.
And there's a handful of 2s.
Okay. One way to look at this is to go with, at least the one with the 5 is on the list because of the over majority, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And how many are you looking to interview?
We don't have a number. We were sort of looking for a clustering of what would be top. And I would presume, I didn't address this myself, but I did not have any involvement with any of these candidates in getting them to apply. I just,
I don't mind.
okay. All right. I just know people didn't say anything, but.
I recruited RJ. I,
We used
Yes.
our,
You mean Rebecca Boyle?
Rebecca Boyle, sorry.
okay, yeah. 2, 3.
There's one person I may have mentioned it too, but I
Brought the lawyer.
You don't know. It's,
ranking.
yeah.
So 8 on my list. I was like,
What's that?
we can't have another lawyer. I like it, so I put her at 8.
Um, Yeah, I worked with her on housing justice issues, so that's how
Okay.
that's the only, although she is pretty busy, so. So do you want, so like, can you throw, I don't know, can you throw up a list of on, so that we can just see who's all been picked or at least voted on by at least one person?
There's 16 total.
16 total.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
8 who received multiple votes.
Right.
yeah,
Right.
so I think that's, but I didn't write it all down, so like, cause I
I
was.
can run through it really quick.
Yeah, okay.
So
Can you go through the list that we have? This one?
receiving multiple votes,
Okay.
Benjamin Bayer,
Wait, so you're not going through this? Could you use this?
Oh, his is in alphabetical order.
Yeah.
And I wish mine was sorted.
Exactly.
That's what. All right,
2 for Rebecca Boyle.
Okay.
Do you want me to say?
yeah, go down the list, yeah, 2 for Rebecca.
Rebecca Boyle, 5 for Nadine. 2, then going down to Jedzia Dex. 1 for Sherry Leach, 1 for Elise Edson, 3 for Sabita. 1 for Justin, 1 for Diana.
Wait a minute, Justin, Rufus.
How many for Sabita?
3.
Okay,
Then 1 for Diana. Then going down a couple, 1 for Christina. 1 for Cassidy. 1 for Alan. Going down a couple, 2 for Elizabeth. 2 for Lisa Faria. Going down several, 2 for Benjamin Bear. And then
Benjamin?
2.
2 for Benjamin and 2 for Lauren.
And one of my names didn't, you passed one of my names. I had Aspen.
Oh, that's right. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Aspen
Everett.
Everett. Okay, that's right. Couldn't find her on the list.
There's 8 that got more than one
Yeah.
nod.
Yeah, that seems.
Done.
I,
grab some more Barbie.
That's a little bit flip, but it does seem like a good number.
That's 15,
Six-
or 8 that got more than one, would we?
Yeah.
yeah, 8 seems like a good number.
I mean, I will tell you that, almost all of these people were also like in my runner-up list. So, yeah,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
But I think we should probably, just for you guys, when you go, why we like these people and give.
Yep.
So it sounds like,
Well, I mean, just wondering about like the timing. So because the committee's going to meet to determine who they're going to interview.
right,
And so they'll see our list then.
yes. But we wanted to give you guys, like, if they're like, why did we pick this person?
Okay.
Yeah, that way you have a little blurb about what the board, and then, Celia can jot down kind of what people said about
Okay.
it, and you'd have that as, and like, why did we like this person?
Okay. Can we first just address the question of, like, in the ones, is there anything missing there or anything that they're, sort of aligned with that might move them to being on the list?
The people that we didn't know, that
Right, the-
didn't
the
get a
ones.
vote.
The ones, do you think that?
What if we had a list of saying these are the ones that had multiple, like endorsements?
2 to
And then
5?
here's a list of people that received a single endorsement.
That-
So
yeah,
that way, at least
yeah.
we're disclosing all of that. I mean,
Yeah.
'cause it's really gonna be up to them.
Yeah.
How what
Yeah.
they do with that information, but obviously the multiple ones are the ones that are our
Yeah,
high priority.
Okay,
Yeah.
I
Does
like
make
that.
sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think that just in light of like, to keep it kind of less personal, if we kind of think about like the qualities as opposed to like the candidate, if that makes sense, like there's certain things about the candidate that like they had a quality that we were thinking the board needed, right? So that's kind of how, if we could frame it in that way a little bit, I think that would be helpful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we going around?
Want to look?
So I
at this
can-
list?
What if we just go by the names of
The
the
name
people?
and people wanted to say
Yeah, we'll
something
start
about.
with RJ and then we'll go down to all the people. And so you know,
We only know this person as Rebecca. not-
Rebecca.
Yeah, please.
There's a,
Rebecca. So Rebecca, so before we get to the, I just want to say, so we'll advance these lists. You guys will tell if they have multiple votes or just one vote.
Yes.
And
They'll
if
see
you'll,
the
I don't know if you'll put together a memo or something like that, or what your plan is, but like, and then either you can write the qualities that we enjoyed and then, or we found important,
Yes.
and then, yeah, I think that should be it.
Record won't be.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So,
Oh, yeah, I found mine.
It's in the packet.
Yeah.
Probably need to redact their own numbers.
Right.
So.
all right, yeah, they redacted the addresses. We have to redact our addresses, yeah, eventually. So for RJ, yeah, I've worked with Rebecca, sorry, for Rebecca, I've worked with her on, housing justice issues. I think she has a bunch of volunteer experience in the community. She's a lawyer. We don't necessarily need a lawyer, but, she's a hard worker. Like, so, you know, one of the things is if we have to do work, she'll volunteer and do it and usually is pretty quick and responsive about it. So that's what and she's got a good attitude.
I would add that Rebecca was on my next list of 4 after the initial 4, so she was a close second for me. We have basically 2 candidates in the set of endorsements that are 3, I guess, that are under the age of 35, which we have no representation on our board at the moment under the age of 35. So I do like, it would be nice to fill out that bit of our demographic.
Yep.
Otherwise, I agree with what Doug said. I also noted she had some tribal experience, which obviously we have Sylvia at the moment, but we may not always have Sylvia. So I think that's a potentially useful thing to have some depth on as well.
Who were we talking about? Rebecca Boyle,
Rebecca Boyle.
which was Doug and who else?
I don't know who else.
It
Oh,
was
Kara.
Going around.
Yeah.
Do we need,
So
to-
I, she made my list of 8. Clearly really involved in the community. I like the tenant piece. Like she was in the youngest cohort. I wasn't thrilled she was a lawyer. That's why she was 8.
Yeah.
I mean, who is? And let me give you what Kara said. I'll give you what Kara said. Under, the age thing was important to Kara, very involved, local volunteer, efforts around conservation and also work experience with land use and conservation and planning.
Okay, thanks.
All right, Nadine?
Nadine was on my list of 4 because she identified as a woman of color. I think that's important. And it's one of the things I remember about her. And she's in that 35 to 54 age group. I don't know her, but I just was impressed by what I saw.
Background in marketing and mentioned that she's a mother of 2 children and
She made them.
Yep. Yeah.
you have 2 kids.
Yep, that was one of the, like, we don't have
Mhm.
great representation. 50% of our programs are kids programs, so, that was important to, so. And also, just looking at the demographics of this board inside the city, outside the city. Kara is currently our only outside the city person. She rolls off in a year unless she reapplies and gets accepted. So it would force, I think, the committee next year to pick someone in the county and, we don't know if we'll get that. And that was the other reason I thought we definitely should give her an extra look.
She's up in the foothills. She's a Latina. She's a mother of 2.
Yeah.
And she had an interest besides her marketing background in what is interest around AI.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be something we're going to be challenged about.
And I think I made a note, work with underrepresented populations as well.
They all, just about everybody has impressive list of things they were involved.
No shortage.
And next year we'll actually have 2 positions.
Oh, will we?
Yeah.
No,
We shifted 2 years after this.
no, it's just Kara, and then when Sylvia and I roll off, it'll be two.
Oh, I thought you were in that one. Okay, so it's still one and then the two and then the other two. Okay, I was thinking of that. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Okay. So can we
Um,
move on?
Yep. Jed, Zia Dax Aurelius
On Barris.
on Barris. Somebody who voted,
I did. Again, I was aligning with issues of diversity and how people identify and the work they do. And this candidate identified with 2+ races. Not sure what that represents, but I just thought that issue of diversity was important for us to focus on.
I thought, he was on my list of 8 and also military vet. Was like, okay, cool. And yeah, and at a base that I was stationed at for a while. I don't know if at the same time, but and then also seemed like a fun, lots of elementary education stuff that was, very relevant to what we do and you know, seems kind of a quirky and I think could be an interesting an add to the thing, So that was mine. Kara was the other one, sorry. I'm sitting here and just going, oh, ESL and STEM were both his thing and education and military background. Okay, next one would be Shari Leach.
No, she's just a 1.
Oh, we're not doing the
Yeah,
ones.
just 2s and up.
Oh, we're only doing 2s and up. Okay, thank you.
So
Sapita Miller. Sapita Miller. And if you already said some stuff about her, but
Yeah, well, mainly I said she was a coworker. I didn't actually.
Oh, yeah.
Any of her redeeming qualities.
good.
I mean, she's a software engineer, so I have to like on that principle alone, you can always game to have more engineers on the board. But beyond that, I do think
a lot of,
she has a lot of experience. I mean, she's worked with the NAACP here in Boulder and has quite a bit of experience with kind of community organization. She's also a parent of relatively young children. I don't know the exact age of her kids, but I think it helps bring kind of that parental representation to the board, which to your point is something that represents a lot of our programming and would be useful. I think she's done a lot of work with kind of diverse communities. She is herself non-white, and I think, it helps kind of just round out our representation a little bit on that front. But she's a solid problem solver and I think would be a good asset overall, just in terms of some of the things we have to try to navigate.
And those are basically the same reasons I had her on my list.
I would just add that there was an answer that she provided on the book banning that I appreciated. And so I had noted that in particular, but also because she's a woman of color and of Middle Eastern descent, as she identified, I just thought that added to our list.
And I like that she's been part of the PTO. And they ended up missing fees. I wasn't sure that her kids weren't out of school.
They may be at this point. I don't actually know how old her kids are.
Somebody told me she had young kids.
Yeah, I thought they were younger, but
Yeah.
I've not actually met them.
I might have got that.
No.
Okay.
I agree. That was all the same things since I was on her votes. The next would be Elizabeth Carmichael. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, I wanted to make sure. I'm going by dots on my paper. Elizabeth Carmichael, who I can start. I thought it was really cool. She was a librarian down in Broomfield. Also, demographically, she lives in the county and also a woman. And yeah, I thought, she had some really good answers on the collections and the book, and it'd be nice to have that experience of libraries on the board, I think, because we only hear from David on it, so might hear from somebody else on what they do.
Yeah, I think I was the other one who
Okay,
named Elizabeth in the top 4. I appreciate her librarian experience and her program evaluation experience, and that she's a librarian within our school district. She's at Emerald, the Title I school in Broomfield. And I think it would be of value to have that connection on our board. And then in general, I prioritized women in my top 4 selections because of, we appointed, we appointed who we appointed last time, who are awesome.
You didn't point anyone.
Right, or yes.
So,
And, replacing another white guy. So all my top 4 are women, and I prioritized women of color as best I could against the other priorities. So another reason why I chose Elizabeth, who I think lives in, I'm not sure if that stretch of road up to the reservoir is in the city or not.
I think it's outside the city.
Yeah, so an outside the city.
Orange Orchard is outside the city.
That's kind of what I thought, so she would be an outside the city rep.
She a woman of color?
No, she's white. I didn't mean to admit, but
I
2
didn't,
of my 4 are women of color.
Yep.
But they're all women.
Yep.
So,
I just want to make sure I got that. And I guess I would see her, so I would know that.
Yeah, I think she would be excellent.
yeah.
Okay. Anyone else? Yeah,
No.
mention her. Okay. And then
Lisa?
Lisa Faria. Faria.
That was one that you had.
So I picked our mother of young kids, highly successful, but
She-
capital firm.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
Latina,
Mhm.
on the national board of whatever the Humane Society has renamed itself. Something World of Animals. So she has some national reach. She's clearly finance chops. I like some of her answers, and she's a woman of color. Like Sam, my top 4 were also all women for the same reason. I'd rather be in the minority.
And really, Tom said all my reasons. So,
I had Lisa as my next list as well. I did like how she, talks about libraries as third spaces, which I think is something that probably resonates with a lot of us. She had a lot of focus on kind of mental health care and support as well. So I think that's an interesting angle to potentially bring. Her being a BC certainly doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was on my short list as well, and I think definitely overqualified for this, and that should be a great addition.
Okay, well, we shouldn't
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah. Oh,
to
sorry.
Anybody.
Okay, sorry. I think all these people were overqualified in my view. So, okay.
can I say one thing, just another thing that I really appreciated, this is not specific to Lisa, but all the people who I ranked highly really had thoughtful answers to the last question.
Mhm.
I think if you're going to really genuinely want to serve on this board, you should take the time to develop a thoughtful answer to all the questions, that one in particular. You should spend a couple hours at least reviewing the master plan, reviewing the library's website, and be able to speak specifically to the work we're doing and demonstrate an understanding of that work, at least to some degree. And I found that, some candidates did that much better than others.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sam. The next is Ben Bayer.
Had him. So he came to the question and answer session and he asked really thoughtful questions and it was clear that he'd paid attention to what was going on. And then I thought his answers were very well thought out. He wrote probably longer answers than anyone else did, but I felt like he was really kind of sharing his feelings about that. And then for me, he is outside the city. So I think that was where I was coming from.
Was he the person that stayed longer?
Yeah, he sat here.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think Kara had him maybe.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. I believe he also visited tech experience, extensive board experience, and submitted a very thoughtful application. And he had definitely thought through. Seemed like a bright guy.
Yeah.
And then
And is he the one with the doctorate degree?
No, that was the gentleman who was on.
also I think he was an Army vet.
Okay, no, he
Yeah.
wasn't that.
Yeah, there was a gentleman online.
I couldn't tell, but Yeah, I think he was.
Yeah.
Pre 9/11. So, I do want to say, want to get back to Kara's thing on Lisa, sorry, Sierra, that, Latina has experience in finance, governance, strategic planning, venture capital, and submitted a thorough and thoughtful application. Sorry that I didn't get that. No, but
She said-
just, she said,
That was at her eight.
that was just her
Yeah.
in her 8, and I wanted to put her comments down in case she would hear.
So Lauren? Can we go on to that one?
Did Lauren have 2?
Mhm.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Lauren Allweiss?
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay, Lauren.
Andy, you want to go?
Yes, that was one of mine. Sorry, let me scroll up. Yeah, so Lauren's, I think, candidacy mainly stood out to me. She did a decent bit of talking about kind of data-driven decision-making, which I appreciate. She did a lot of talking about kind of digital access and equity, which again, I think we had a few applicants that talked about how much they love reading, which is part of the library, but I think we want to make sure we're considering all the other things the library does. Digital access and equity, I think, is a big part of that. And then she spoke a lot about vulnerable populations. Obviously, that's many of the populations we serve, so I kind of appreciated that viewpoint.
The what population?
Vulnerable populations.
I didn't understand.
Her marketing background, I think, could certainly be an asset as well. I don't know that we really have that on our board today. We obviously have it at the staff level, but increasingly we seem to be doing a lot of work in that space, and having a board member with that experience might be helpful.
The only thing I would add to that is, I think she outlined some strategic planning background as well, which I think would serve this board in the long term. So I can't remember where she lives, but
She's inside.
It's in the city limits.
She was in my 8, and part of it was the Peace Corps piece, and part of it was the, all the things you just laid out about her answers around access and populations.
so if we were to recommend these 8, then they would all be interviewed by the selection committee. Is that?
And then along with any,
Maybe, maybe not.
maybe or maybe not.
No,
Okay.
right.
It's just our list.
It's just our.
So I'm just looking, I just want to, from a geographic perspective, we have
2 of the folks.
2 of the folks are outside the city.
Mhm.
I think 3, yeah,
3 of your 8 are from outside the city.
yeah. Orange Orchard,
Elizabeth Carmichael, been by
Oh, you're right, been
Yeah.
there.
But Sam, we're also including the ones,
Nadine.
Lisa's in East Boulder.
just to indicate that they're,
Oh,
part
yeah,
of it,
these are other folks.
that they received a vote.
Yeah, yeah.
So just the 8.
Are you planning to say how many votes each person received?
We could.
I mean, I don't have a strong feeling one way or the other. I was just curious if this was going to be multiple versus 1, or if this was going to be a specific ranking based upon number of votes.
I mean, we could certainly show that. I think last year, how many did you say they interviewed?
6 or 7, yeah.
So yeah, so if they stuck with that same range, then the top 8, the people that got multiple would be a good recommendation. But again,
It's up to them.
we don't know what they'll,
Right.
what they'll
If I
decide.
was- Yeah, putting myself in their shoes, I'd like to see how many
Yeah, yeah,
votes, as it were, each.
right.
one.
I think that would be very informative. Like, I think they want
We can,
as much
Yeah.
information as possible.
yeah, I mean, happy to share that.
I would not say who voted for whom. I mean, they're all.
No, yeah, that's,
I think that seems like an additional layer of
yeah,
bias.
yeah, no, it'll just be, maybe we can explain the process a little bit and
Yeah.
then,
And then list them in order of
Yep.
most to least votes.
yeah, definitely, which is 3 numbers.
Right, exactly. And a lot of alphabetical ranking.
Can I just ask, so, I mean, because there are so many, this was a hard process just because so many great, applicants. So what happens to the ones that didn't?
Oh, yeah. So I'm gonna email them all um,
But won't that be after the?
no, I'm gonna email them probably, hopefully by the end of this week, and just say,
Thank them for their
thank
application.
them for their application, tell them what the process is. tell them that we went and voted, we advanced some candidates, and I don't know if I'll tell them that.
I don't know.
We discussed the candidates and we're gonna, yeah, sorry.
But
We
I mean,
discussed some candidates.
Recommending some.
would- yeah, but would that be a problem if the search committee says, oh no, we're gonna actually,
Maybe I won't even mention that and
Yeah.
just say like, you can go see our discussion or not. What do you think?
and
What do you,
I think maybe, you should be communicating after the process.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody that applied that
Yeah.
doesn't make it around, because we don't know who the
yeah, that's,
committee's gonna
Yeah.
choose,
It's a good point.
right?
yes.
It's a good point. And
I would
I,
embrace this group of people and their interest in the library.
absolutely,
And offer up opportunities for them to be engaged with us
absolutely.
without being on the board.
Yeah.
There's some
that was,
awesome talent in there.
that was one of the things Benita also mentioned is, we've talked about advisory groups and offering that as a,
Yeah.
and we have the like Give Pulse volunteer network. Is that what it's called? And we can always utilize that if we wanted volunteers and ask these folks to think about it.
And
And also explain that, this is gonna, next year there's gonna be.
exactly, that's, what I was just going to say was,
two-
this is
One
just this year, right?
Two more after that.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
You know,
every year.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, so I will wait then till after the selection is made,
yeah.
the single selection, okay. And, would it be bad if I just said, if I just said, hey, we've received your application, thank you so much, everyone's qualified and it's, or do you just want me to
No.
wait?
I mean, did they receive an acknowledgement from you?
Okay, they got
They
it,
got a schematic one.
okay, that's fine,
Yeah.
yeah, that's fine.
I mean, you could, once the selection committee selects who they're gonna interview, you could email all the folks that aren't getting interviewed to basically.
I'll just wait.
Say
I'm just gonna wait till the end, because there could be people that don't accept interviews, they're like, now my life circumstances have changed.
Absolutely.
Or I'm really busy or whatever, so,
Right.
Sylvia, I was gonna ask you about this as well, but it did seem like there's at least a few candidates in here that would potentially be good foundation members as well, so. we might
Definitely,
wanna-
yes. I was not thinking about that. That was not part of my, yes.
Well, I didn't factor into my
No,
calculus.
no, no.
Probably at least a
Did
few
that
names.
ulterior motive, but yeah,
So probably at least a few names in here we might want to direct Chris's attention to.
absolutely,
And I assume he is probably looking at it himself, but
he gets the trustee.
absolutely.
if he doesn't want to read 240 pages, we could draw his attention.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool that this many people applied.
It's great.
Yeah.
A wide range of skills.
Mhm.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
We don't have full, like
Mhm.
finance, marketing, strategic planning, AI, technology, STEM. There's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
things
Mhm.
that we don't have, that are clearly in our, we talk about every day.
Right.
And they could be extraordinarily helpful, whether they're appointed to the board or not. And so,
Yeah.
I will also reach out to some of them just to see, we'll give them the opportunity to weigh in, but I'm always open to talking to people. And
Good.
especially if they're interested in
Mhm.
lending expertise.
They might ask you what we're looking for in a skill set. I mean, do you guys know? Maybe you can think of it later, but that might be a question they ask you. But overall, if I hear what this group was saying, I could probably.
This is the committee.
Yeah, the committee.
I think part of it is filling in the gaps.
Yeah,
Right? Like one time, trying to pick somebody that's not necessarily replacing Sam, but balancing out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the
Exactly.
whole of what we have to offer.
that's a
And
good,
what's ahead of us too.
Yeah.
that's a good,
Things coming up.
Yeah.
a good.
And
Not a lawyer, no
I-
specific
I-
skills.
Yeah. I mean, I was just kind of writing down what we were saying for each one, and I have like, educators, tech or AI, marketing,
Aaron,
parents, and then, there was one other one I was thinking of, finance.
Education, yeah,
I got education.
Yeah.
Military,
military experience.
yeah.
Do we
So-
think that's important
Well, I mean, it's a thing.
for this board?
Yeah, yeah.
maybe in the future.
I wasn't gonna say it.
We should disclose that we also had to be mindful, we also have to be mindful about the mix of like city versus county
Yeah,
representation.
and they'll ask about that too. I mean, I would, they're gonna probably say, well, how many people live in the county? And you say, well, there's Kara right now, and
Right.
I would just be like, if she doesn't reapply, like,
Right.
you got it.
We got it.
Yeah.
Like,
It's not a criterion for board.
Mhm.
appointment.
No.
No, no,
Criterion for applicants to the. board.
yeah, so,
Right.
yeah, sorry, yeah,
The,
the IGA,
to the board, it's like almost identical to what the population is.
yeah,
Okay.
the IGA states, basically that we will run a recruitment process that gets that, targets all parts of the community. Or not all.
Of the district.
There's a best, it says in there,
The app
diverse,
pool reflects the population.
it's representative,
Yeah,
so.
Better or worse, it's.
okay.
Lines
Yeah.
up really.
I think that's good.
So have you reached out to them, to the parties to ask them about scheduling
Yes, May 10th.
anytime?
I will be letting you know as soon as I can get from the commissioners.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
If I,
Like
if I,
begin the week of the 31st as opposed to the week of the 24th. And their levy is now in the mix again. So I
Okay.
think it's not until April that she's able to join that committee.
Are these Zoom meetings? Please say yes.
Yes.
They are.
Okay, thank goodness.
Yes,
Okay.
they all were.
you mean the 24th of March or the 24th of
The
April?
24th of March was when you guys, that week
Yeah.
was when you guys had thought would be.
You were hoping.
Oh,
But
okay,
it's gonna have to be probably that following week, which.
Oh,
is a
okay.
Very quick
That's
turnaround for
perfect.
interviews will have to be that following week in order to have a decision by the 24th, which was in the original plan, but I will let you know as soon as I get some confirmed dates.
And the drop dead date is we need somebody to appoint to basically swear in by the May meeting.
Main meeting.
Something has been confirmed, yeah.
and so
That's the hope.
do you think you'll write a letter?
We,
to the
we lose
committee
Sam at that.
with our
Yes.
comments?
We can do that.
Yeah,
I think that would probably be the best,
you can do that.
just forward that,
Probably a memo.
and that would might, prompt them to, get we should probably,
Figure that out.
prompt them to get a calendar invite on a date on the calendar. So
Okay.
Yeah.
it's an interesting to plan between those two bodies. So, okay, well, is there any other comments or any other thing you wanna?
It's just a think about.
Okay.
Y'all have been on boards. I'm sure you've all done board matrices. This might be something for you to think about going forward, developing a matrix of skill sets, backgrounds, et cetera, so you can really hone in on what you're lacking and what you prioritize. And then you might want to consider a more formal scoring rubric as well in the interest of objectivity and transparency.
Yes.
Not just because someone who applies and isn't selected may push back on that, but just because it can really make things just a little fairer and more objective if you've done your homework in advance and you have your matrix and you've qualified all that. You know what I'm talking about.
I'll just say you're very wise.
You guys had that
We
conversation?
talked about it.
I know you did.
We talked about it, like,
Rubric.
but, the issue with doing it this time was just that we hadn't published.
No, but it is.
Completely understand, yeah.
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 And I think if we do that, we probably put it as, we want to probably frame the questions also to be within the score, like questions related to the scoring matrix, you know what I mean?
Yeah, or your scoring matrix, reflects your questions.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Whichever, yeah.
No, and
Yeah.
that's.
So I think it's a great idea. And one thing I was going to mention, and I know I was saying at the end, but this is our first time doing this. So, a little grace from the community and from each other on the process is always welcome. I know I'm saying it at the end, but we all seem to get along, and so it was okay. So, but
If I heard correctly, though some of you may know some of the candidates, nobody recruited any of the candidates or.
RJ or Rebecca was the only one. Which, mainly because of the reasons people all said.
Why?
Um, let's see. But, so I'm gonna just summarize the people we put forward at the end. Rebecca Boyle, Nadine Cesario, Jadez Dax Aurelius Perez, Sapita Miller, Elizabeth Carmichael, Lisa Fiera, Ben Bayer, and Lauren Alavice.
Although it sounds like we're gonna send everyone who got at least one vote.
Yeah,
We'll
and
just-
then you'll send.
those will be the one.
Did you, yeah, we'll
Right.
do it like by first.
But-
Okay.
Let me just make sure that we have the ones, though. The ones are Sherry Leach, Elise Edson, Justin Rufa, Diana, Christina, Cassidy, Alan, Aspen. And that's it.
It's just mine.
Alan is Osha, Oshi?
Ashi.
Okay, and Aspen, okay,
Yep, yep,
okay.
they were both there.
I didn't have,
Yeah,
Okay.
Ellen was in my 8, but not in my 4.
okay.
Yeah.
So we'll-
Well, just that-
Yeah.
That,
He was in-
and that was all a Kara's 8, yeah.
Awesome.
They've all been mentioned.
Okay,
One other thing I would suggest, we don't have to start doing this right now, but when Sam and I did like a few info sessions over the year to like start the long tail of recruiting for this last time, we never really had like a sign up sheet or anything like that. I do think it would maybe behoove us going forward just to collect names of people that are interested. So when the application does open next time around, we have I mean, clearly it wasn't an issue because
Right.
we had plenty of applicants, but I think it doesn't hurt us to
Yeah.
have a list of people to email next time we're recruiting.
And, David, there's like a bunch of programs that are big community events. Can you make sure that they just let us know, like, when we have like the kid day or the whatever day, so that we can send a trustee there to recruit? You know what I mean?
Want me to
So-
the draft and then?
Okay,
Will that work?
either way, I could do it or you can, do it. I have time.
Okay, if you have time.
Yeah.
then I'll let you maybe.
Well-
I'll do it.
have we already adjourned? Okay, I'm gonna adjourn the meeting. Sorry. Thank you.
Cool.
All right.
Done in
Still
under an
being
hour.
recorded, but
I knew it was gonna be remarkably consistent.
Indeed.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought so too.
I had no clue because this is the first time we've done that, but thank you.
Did you have any?
When do you leave,
No, no, of the 8, I only ran.
and you go where first?
First stop is,
I know 2 people, one of them,
Okay.
then I'm going.
I didn't recruit either.
Adjourn.
Get your outfit.
One of them didn't make the list.
Gary finally back today.
One,
Unfortunately, after I sent you.
I wouldn't have had them up.
No, don't.
Didn't have either one of them.